All right, day number 12 of my 40-day water fast. I mean, at least it's fast from eating any food. I've certainly been experimenting with different salts. Different salts, and actually just adding, in the last video, I also mentioned adding about cayenne pepper. And that definitely helps, like, encourage things flushing out. So the flushing has continued, and now feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm just about totally flushed out. So, yeah. So this has been did another day of working on this job, organizing, installing stuff, installing hangers, and building, organizing closet things, and moving stuff. And yeah, the worst thing is like just climbing up and down stairs, going up steep hills, steep driveways and stuff like that. That's the only part where I start to feel a little winded feeling, and then I have to just go a little slower. But just the other stuff, it doesn't seem to be too strenuous on me. So I've been holding up pretty well, and I think I got more sleep. Yeah, I got some more sleep last night than I did the previous night. And let's see. Let's just go into the numbers. Okay, something weird has been happening. It's probably a combination of factors, but I have definitely have gotten into this plateau thing. And I know I've gotten into plateaus before, but this one it's a very peculiar one that I have never experienced before to this degree. And so I went up today to 203.8, which is now the third time in a row, third time every other day in a row, in which I hit 203.8. On the 8th day, I went down to 203.8. Then I went down to 202.4. Then back up to 203.8. Then down to 202.4. And now I went back up to 203.8 again. So I'm assuming tomorrow will be 202.4, which would be hilarious. Like, what are the damn probabilities of that occurring, But I mean, at this rate, it's kind of funny. So yeah, I don't know. It's a combination of things. I'm sure it's a combination of I definitely was consuming little higher concentrations of salts, which retain, it's notorious for retaining water. And I've been probably more active than is recommended doing something like this. So I'm sure both of those things are factors that are causing me to just hold on. But I can't help but think that it's probably mostly I'm just going back up in terms of retaining water, because I'm certainly not bringing in calories. That's for damn sure. All the salt and the cayenne pepper, a little bit of, I mean, admittedly, I'm doing some cayenne pepper sauce. It has like a little bit of vinegar, but the actual calorie amount is still 0. So I certainly am burning calories, even though my weight is fluctuating up and down like this. So I don't know. Either I'm going to be 202.4 tomorrow, or I could suddenly just wake up and I'm under 200 pounds tomorrow. I mean, it can happen that fast. So I can experience gigantic weight drops too. So, yeah. So, but in terms of energy wise, I was pretty good today for the most of the day. Near the end of the day, which was like when it was like approaching like 3:30, 4 o'clock, I definitely was feeling like, okay, I got to start winding down. So we ended up finishing it by 5, but I could feel that I can't keep pushing too much harder. So, pH again, same, 5.75. Ketones came in at 6, and I went to bed earlier, much earlier than the night before, still not super early at 1:15 a.m. And then I woke up bright and early at 8:30 a.m. So, and that seemed to, but again, I'm probably, I think tonight I'm definitely going to get to bed a little earlier. It's kind of late right now. So, definitely going to I'm going to do my best to get to bed a little earlier than 1:15. At least, before 1 for sure. Like that's my goal right now, is to get to bed before 1. And let's see. So do the other one. How is this doing? All right, the good old psoriasis patches. Yeah, I mean, there's doing a little flaking, but it's definitely going through the healing process. Like I said, it's definitely still, it's hard to notice day between day. So I mostly just think back, comparing it to what I remember seeing it in the beginning. And this definitely appears like something that's healing. Things are healing right now. It's it's definitely very much so in the pinkish hues tone, and not in the reddish, and not in the super inflamed reddish ways it was before. Now it's more relaxed and pinkish tones. Yeah. So, 12 days in. Yeah, 2 more days. Looks like 2 weeks. See, that's the thing. It's like 2 weeks. It's often recommended that 14-day fast, if you're going to overcome, resolve some kind of ailment in your body, 14 is basically the minimum you should go for. So this one was fairly significant in terms of it visually showing up like this. So as you can see, 14 days is not necessarily enough, because I only got 2 more days left, and I seriously doubt that I'll have this resolved in 2 days. It could happen, but yeah, this feels like again, I'm thinking day 20. Day 20 is when this will most likely be mostly gone. I think I feel like it'll be mostly vanished by day 20 at this rate. 8 more days. That's kind of what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling like is a good number. But it could take to, 25 days. But even then, if it's like it's just resolved, it just went away, but then it could still be right on the verge, It could be right on like threshold. There's that threshold, and then you can have it as long as everything's under threshold, everything looks fine. And then it just goes above threshold, and all of a sudden, this stuff shows up. So I don't want to do the fast where I take it to where it's just, I get it so it's just below threshold, and it heals up, but there's still plenty of stuff that is under the surface still that hasn't been processed, hasn't been flushed out. And that's part of why I feel like even if it got totally cleared up on day 20, I still got to push to 40 days because inevitably there's still more inflammatory things in my system that haven't been pushed out. And so I need to give it sufficient time to really purify everything. And so that I get way below threshold, way below threshold, and I'm no longer, so when I come out of the fast, I've got a huge amount of room now to work. And then of course combine that with stick with a super clean diet, mostly based on the plant paradox approach. And then I'm going to be doing some traveling, so I know it's going to be a little difficult, so I'll just do my best. I'll do my best. I don't know. I've already kind of was contemplating that, and trying to be 100% is, and traveling is like so damn hard. I don't know if that's possible. So I don't know. Maybe my dream of having it where I only need 3 hours of sleep a night, it might not be sustainable. It might be one of those things that I just have it briefly and then it just kind of vanishes. So I don't know, man. But it's, it is what it is. But I am sticking to the 40 days. I feel day 12. Actually, I have this feng shui friend who I was working on the job with today. She's the project manager for this job. And then, and so she knows that I'm fasting while I'm working this job. And then she mentioned that there was, there's definitely a spiritual significance of whenever you have an 11, because it's the double one. It's like, because one is the beginning, so the double beginning. And she said usually that's a turning point. That's a very significant turning point, and that after once you pass 11, then it's the beginning of a new cycle, beginning of a new phase, kind of thing. And so she said she noticed in me that the difference between the beginning of the job, when it was just before the 11th, and then the 11th, which was yesterday, and then the 12th today. She said she noticed an energetic shift in me, that something that I crossed to a different state now that I'm, especially today, that clearly I'm in a new phase. I feel like I've fully settled into this phase of this, doing this fast now. And like, I feel I feel like I've very much acclimated to this now. And it's no longer a feeling of I'm trying to avoid eating, I'm trying to fat. Now it's just like, this is what I'm doing, and this is my state for the time being. It's like I'm visiting a country. It feels like that. It feels a little bit like that. I'm visiting this other country that you don't visit too often, and oftentimes you only do a quick excursion to, but you learn a lot more when you actually go there and spend more time there. So this other fasting reality, this new reality that opens up when you go into a long water fast, it's like living in a country for an extended period of time. You start finding out all the other interesting, cool nuances about it that you can never experience or discover if you're just visiting for a weekend. So it's the best analogy I got right now. But I don't know. Let's see. The other things I'll just bring up. I don't know if it's totally related to this at all, but I've been watching the Playboy, the Hugh Hefner story on Amazon Prime, and actually I've been finding it's pretty inspiring actually, and um, one of the things, so it's really inspiring to me because like I'm in the process of reinventing myself and transforming myself, and so it was definitely, I'm seeing that that's ultimately was part of what that story is about, is just like one guy saying like, I don't want to live, I don't want to accept the way things are anymore. I don't want to accept the way I am anymore, and just I want to create something new, and I need to reinvent myself to become the person that can actually do this kind of thing. And it's basically what he did. So in that way, I'm finding it to be, yeah, at first I thought it was like, oh, this is going to be kind of corny or it's just stupid, but then I'm just like, wow, this was actually a huge achievement and huge undertaking, and like super entrepreneurial type of story that I didn't really appreciate, and the connection and all of his connections with key historical, you know, you know, key historical movements, like the civil rights movement, and and different major, significant people in history that he directly had, had influence and helped to spread other people's messages and spread very forward-thinking ideas and things like that. I didn't fully grasp until watching this. I mean, I fully grasped, but it didn't register how significant what the things that he had done. And it was funny, as I was watching it, there was one point that he just said something that I paused the show and wrote it down, and he said simply, the difference between good and excellent is detail, and that's where he's about, his perfectionism is about going deep into the details of things in order to achieve excellence. And so that got me thinking too, it's like, like that's a bit of a clue as to, certain things that, to take things to a next level. And so, yeah, so I'm just trying to glean from someone who's succeeded really big and lived an amazing lifestyle. Sure, he had his controversies and all that stuff, but every human being, name me one human being that's perfect, that's on earth today, so it's like humans got their different ways, and there's always going to be people that disagree with how they live their life. So what, but we're all about pushing boundaries, pushing limits, hell, I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to push limits. But I definitely see the value of having, that kind of bachelor lifestyle. But it's like, what's the new version of that? And so I feel like that's something that is really, it's definitely going to be a profound impact in the coming years, of the old, a lot of the old family designs are just don't seem to be compatible today with the current trends that are happening. They just, it's definitely moving towards more polyamory, polygamous, open relationships. It's complicated as hell. I don't know how this is going to work with kids and everything, but it's just like, well, as human beings, we adapt and change. So I'm definitely all for adapting and changing. And, one of the things that I hope to do is continue pushing forward, pushing pushing the limits of things, questioning what's possible. I mean, hell, like I said, I'm doing this fast, and I'm not doing it according to what most of the people would say that are, I feel, are more of like the coddling type. And I mean, maybe if you're like super frail, you already had a very super frail health, then sure, maybe you do need to be more coddled. But I'm willing to push a little more, and not assume that I'm as fragile as most people seem to make us believe these days. I think that's the problem. Most people are being told that they're super, super fragile. Certain parts of us are potentially fragile, or vulnerable, sensitive kind of thing. But like when it comes to like life and death kind of stuff, I mean, we have our weak spots. It's like, you get stabbed in a certain spot or cut in a certain part, you can bleed out or whatever. Sure, there's those things. But when it comes to like fasting, I don't know. Humans fasted for thousands of years. I mean, out of necessity. I'm doing it out of choice. So I could cut the fast anytime I want. So that's not the issue. So I don't find it to be that dangerous. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Pretty much most people I come across just don't understand this. So, but I'm just, my long-term intention is that I'm 42. Yeah, 42. Next month I'll be 43. And some people, they see 40 as like midlife. I'm seeing 40, like this next birthday, as I'm getting closer to quarter life. Like for me, 50 will be the new 25. Because I fully intend, my intention is that I will live to at least 200. And part of my strategy is periodically doing long water fasts to fully purify my body, fully heal anything, and to do some, it's like a major maintenance cycles, and to do that periodically. I don't know if I do it every year, but every few years do a really long water fast to just purify everything out. And I think that's probably a good thing. And then in between, do the intermittent fasting, and then occasionally do shorter type fasts kind of thing. And then start taking on other things, other types of health, and obviously the diet. I'm really going to commit to doing follow it as strictly as possible, more follow of a plant paradox style diet. And then, I'm all about jumping into any genetic editing and all that kind of stuff, to help, aid in every way possible, to then start to slow down and start to even reverse the aging process. Because I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So I outright reject when I hear people say, "Oh, you're getting old," or my sister may be like, "Oh, you're already kind of old. You're gonna be an old man." I'm like, dude, that is your distorted reality. Get the fuck out of here. Like, brush it off. Like, no, I disagree. In the same way that I disagreed with that damn doctor a few years ago that said it will take 6 to 8 weeks to heal your collarbone, I just outright was like, fuck you, you're wrong. I will prove you wrong. And instead of it being 6 to 8 weeks, it was healed, and I was out of the arm sling and back to work in 3 weeks. So don't just take who the hell says who has authority anymore? I can't verify if anyone actually has authority. Ultimately, the only real authority is like greater consciousness kind of thing, like is the greater authority. Outside of that, authority is very subjective, subject to scrutiny, and authority is often wrong. So that's what I've just accepted, because I've had many experiences where the authority said one thing, I did a totally different thing, and I got better results than what the authority said. So just like, are you sure you actually know what you're talking about? Because I don't think you actually do. So, so it's good to question authority, because like ultimately authority is not about something that, someone tells you that they have authority over you. It's like they demonstrate through their actions and results and provable, verifiable knowledge, and then you assign them the title as they have authority, but then you've granted them authority out of you seeing and witnessing what they can do and what they know. And then, like, that's the only way. Someone just shows up and says, I am the authority. I'm like, prove it. I was just like trying to be forcing it upon you and stuff. I'm like, unless you're doing amazing shit in front of me, I just don't take anything. I won't take it at face value. I'm sorry. So yeah, so it's interesting. I'm just being forced. I'm just questioning a lot of stuff right now. So, and now tomorrow will be day 13, lucky number 13. So, but I know Nikola Tesla, 13 was his favorite day. Friday the 13th he thought was like the luckiest number of all, luckiest day of all. So he would only do business deals on Friday the 13th and stuff like that. So I found that funny. So I don't know. It feels like maybe Friday the 13th. No, well, it's not Friday the 13th. It's Monday the 13th. But no, it's not Monday the 13th. It's the 13th day of my fast, I guess is what I'm saying. So, 13, it's good. It'll be a good number. It's getting up there, approaching 2 weeks. And, yeah. One other thing, I did drink a little bit of carbonated water, which I know in the past has like stalled the weight drop. So who knows? I may just still basically be at 203.8 when I wake up. I don't know. It's like I said, healing is still happening. Time is going by. I'm not consuming a bunch of shit in my body. So, and things are flushing out like crazy. I feel so much more flushed out now, especially like that cayenne, the high salts, and the cayenne is definitely just cleans you out from top to bottom. So the only other thing I definitely would like to do at some point in, in the very near future here, while still in the middle of doing this water fast, is to start spending some time in a sauna to also sweat out, because that's also recommended. It's like sweat out toxins out of your skin. So I would like to do at least get in several days of sauna time during this fast would be helpful. I mean, ideally it'd be like every day, but I mean, day 13. So as long as I'm gonna try later this week, I'm gonna see if I can get fine. But I got to find a gym. Unfortunately, none of the gyms around here seem to have saunas. That's the problem that I'm running into. So I don't want to sign up for some gym and then it doesn't even have the damn sauna, which is the only main thing I need right now. So, yeah, and what else? Yeah, I think those are the main points. I yeah, I'm looking forward to my own transmutation, and I'm sure anyone else is like eager to want to go through a metamorphosis. I think that's probably a better description, like going through this metamorphosis, like major change, becoming a different person, becoming different, developing a whole new set of capabilities, discarding everything that doesn't serve, discard anything that doesn't serve them or doesn't serve where they're going. Discard it, like someone who becomes an immigrant to a new country, they just leave everything behind except for the essentials, which is their physical body, the clothes on their back, whatever cash they have on hand, and some luggage with a few personal belongings, and that's pretty much it. I mean, that's kind of where I need to like be willing to go to that length, to let go of anything that's slowing me down, holding me back from, which now it kind of feels like my destiny at this point, purpose and destiny. The vision, there's lots of different components to it. It's still kind of coming into more focus as I move forward, but I definitely see the next few steps ahead of what I need to do and what I feel like is possible that can happen, and that it feels like something is getting set up. Something is setting itself up for me to take advantage of. And so I'm excited about that. And it feels good to just be clear. And yeah, so that might be kind of vague. I don't know, back to the NLP training and then combining with all my past traumatic experiences, which I am thinking about now, starting a different recording with on another channel. It's called Spellcast, and that one I'm just sharing just all my very super trippy mystical experiences, supernatural, telepathic, all those kind of things that just can't be normally explained. Like, they're just so far out there. And now I realize I have quite a few of those now at this point. And so I think maybe it would be good to just start sharing those stories, and I could do it in a little bit more, produced way. So I think I probably spend a little more time making it nice, making the camera setup and background and lighting and all that stuff and microphone and everything extra nice, and make it almost like a little a storytelling hour kind of thing, where I'm sharing the stories, and then maybe bring on other people that they've got some really fascinating, psychedelic, mystical, transcendent, spiritual, um, you know, astral projection, all kinds of different types of stories that they've personally experienced, and then them telling their tale. So that's what I feel like feels like that would be something cool to share. So yeah, so that's what's kind of on my mind at the moment. And yeah, so I guess until tomorrow, until lucky number 13, good luck on your water fast out there.